See? We know how to choose our partners. And we mean this in every specific way, carefully and over the year. We have a very special person to introduce you to today. What is a leader? A leader is someone who's your teacher. My teacher, when I was a young girl and was looking for a good doctoral program, I was sent around halfway around the world to find a man, a person who had a vision, a person who decided that a vision has to be something that is practiced. Practice it yourself, teach practice to others. The author of close to 70 different books, a man who's traveled the world in many, many different ways, willing to go into any community to make sure that people understand that there's different ways to share ideas, a way to dialogue. A person who created a concept of a dialogue decalogue, certain rules and standards for what real dialogue is. The person who's been teaching it for more than 50 years. I'd like to present to you the president of the Dialogue Institute, the editor of the Journal of Ecumenical Studies, professor of Catholic Thought, professor of Interreligious Dialogue, and a brand new chair named in honor of his wife and himself, Arlene and Leonard Swidler, chair in Interreligious Dialogue at the Temple University. Professor Leonard Swidler.
Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, and thank all of you for being here today. Most of all, I want to thank my most generous and kind host, Princess Sam. It's a good thing that I didn't know all of the important people who were going to be here today, otherwise I'd be more frightened than I am already. I'm going to start as if this were an after-dinner speech and tell you a story. This is a story of the relationship between religion and business, how it ought not be. It seems that there were two evil brothers. They were rich and used their money to keep their ways from the public eye. They even attended the same church and looked to be perfect Christians. Then their pastor died and a new one was hired. Not only could this new pastor see right through the brothers' deception, but he also, in general, spoke well and true, and as a consequence, the church started to swell in numbers. And so he started a fundraising campaign to build a new assembly hall. Then all of a sudden, one of the brothers died, and the remaining brother sought out the new pastor the day before the funeral and handed him a check for the amount needed to finish paying for the whole of the new building. "I have only one condition," he said. "At his funeral, you must say that my brother was a saint." The pastor gave his word and deposited the check. The next day at the funeral, the pastor did not hold back. Quote, "He was an evil man," he said. "He cheated on his wife and abused his family." And after going on in this vein for some small time, he concluded with, "But compared to his brother, he was a saint." I've entitled my remarks, "Religion and Business for a Better World Movement." Two of the most powerful forces in the world today are religion and business. Each has within it the potential for construction and destruction. We need not here labor the reality of their destructive power, which we are all too familiar with. For religion, crusade, jihad, Hindutva, Northern Ireland, Iraq, Sri Lanka, Kashmir, and tragically on and on. For business, pollution of the air, of the land, of the water, profiting from war, driving up the cost of food, collapsing of shoddy buildings, and so on. Further, many in religion have seen business as, at best, a distraction from the true goal of life, which exists somewhere beyond this earthly sojourn, and at worst, as a devilish ploy to drag us down into the mire of matter. On the other hand, many in business have been so bludgeoned by religion that they totally reject it in their work world, relegating it to at best being an object of charity to salve their consciences, or perhaps appear magnanimous before the world. However, beyond all of the still prevalent destructive dimensions of religion and business, the constructive dimensions of each are beginning to come to the fore. What we here in Amman have as our goal is to wed together the rising constructive forces of both religion and business to work together for the betterment of people and the earth. We have come together in the very area where centuries ago Judaism, Christianity, and Islam came forth, and today is the epicenter of worldwide violence. It is here at this center of religious construction and destruction and a crossroad of world trade that we have come together to launch a new movement, a religion and business for a better world movement. I want to very briefly lay out some of the major ways each of these world powerhouses have begun individually to work by themselves for the betterment of the world, and then suggest how they might begin to work together so as to magnify the effectiveness of their efforts, not just arithmetically, but geometrically. A brief description of religion is, quote, an explanation of the ultimate meaning of life and how to live accordingly based on some notion of the transcendent. Now there are manifold dimensions of religion, some of which have been stressed more than others at various times and various places. Much of the time, and for vast numbers of peoples, religion has concentrated on life other than here, because life here on earth was, for many, as Hobbes put it, short, nasty, and brutish.